89.
Yeah, it looks good from here.
91. 94. 96. 98. 100. $103. 106. 108. 111. 113. 150. 118. 120. 122. 125. 127. 129. 131. 133. 135. 138. 141. 141. Gilchrist, 141. 142.
Yeah, correct.
Touching, yes.
You don't give a shit, do you?
6. 8. 10. 12. 14. 16. 18. 20. 22. 27. 30. 40.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are here at the 2022 World Billiards Limited Hamilton Open Billiards, and we're watching the final between Gary Oliver of New Zealand and Peter Gilchrist of Singapore. I'm joined in commentary by Wayne Carey. My name is Peter Tankard, and Wayne is a very familiar face and voice in New Zealand billiards, having been many times winner of this championship and others for many decades. Good afternoon, Wayne.
Good afternoon, Mr. Peter Tankard. It's just wonderful to be here. We're currently watching the score. For those that wish to know, Peter Gilchrist is from Singapore. Really, really nice fellow, and a player to match. Now he is currently on the top score, 247. Mr. Gary Oliver is 19 times New Zealand champion, and he is on the bottom of the score with 213. So as you watch here, now Peter Gilchrist, for those that don't know, he is the only man living with two 1,000 breaks. Now what that meant, for those that are wondering what that is, it's a thousand break in billiards consists of about 400 consecutive scoring shots. Now he's had a 1347, 1,346, sorry, and he's had a 1,000 dead.
Now, Wayne, I'm going to ask you this so you can show off. Where did Peter make that world record break, 1,346?
There's only one place in the world he could ever make it, and it's a place called Hamilton, New Zealand. It was year 2007, and he got a 1,246, and honestly I was there at the time, and it's just wow, absolutely wow.
Yes. So in fact it was made just behind Peter's left shoulder now on the table that you can see top left of the screen. That was the table that he made it on.
Yes, it is. Now for those that are watching there, the anything to do with red first is 3 and cannons are 2, so when there's yellow it's the white as well, that's 2 points. Now he'd be disappointed with that, he's played that far too hard and lost the red. But let's see what he manufactures.
Now, Wayne, have you been watching Peter in the last couple of days? Have you seen what I've seen with his back problems? He looks like he's in a tremendous amount of pain.
Oh, wonderful recovery. Yes, he is. Now, he came over by a plane, of course, and it seems that he was, when sitting in the seat, he's gone to sleep and he just sort of messed up his back a wee bit.
Right.
And his back's not in centre.
He suffers from this. This is a perennial problem for Peter. He's 6'7" tall, and you'll see that how low he has to bend over the table. He's been doing this for the last 40 years. He's been a professional billiards player for almost all of that time, and he has to come down a long way to get to that table. In fact, he's one of the few players that can play the underbody shot like Mark Williams because his hips are higher than the table. But the suffering that he has at the moment is the result of years of cueing correctly, because he always keeps he was trained in that time when we're all told to keep our back legs straight, and he's always been ramrod straight with his back leg, and consequently he has to bend very low to get them. Now, interestingly, he's not bending low here, but when he's got the balls in close like this, he prefers to stand above them to see the right angles.
Now, he's a beautiful cueist. Just if you want to copy
really
him
is.
on his cueing action, this is Jeffrey the gentleman.
Absolutely, absolutely. Smooth as silk.
Watch the elbow, it doesn't drop at all. See that?
Mm.
Plays a shot, the elbow stays the same place.
So this is his preferred scoring position, isn't it? Top of the table. And he didn't mean that to go in. But it's no problem that it is because he's got the white close to the spot.
2 pots off the black spot puts the red up on the blue spot. The reason for that, the professionals of yesteryear, they would just continually keep potting the red off the bottom spot. So therefore they brought the rule in where 2 pots off the black spot and it then goes up onto the blue spot and then back to the black spot. It's potted again. That's a lovely shot.
Look at that. So that was screw back with
Yeah,
left-hand
great
side,
recovery.
check side in that case, to snap it in off the far jaw.
Let's see what he does here. Would he run the? Would he draw back in? Would he draw back in the middle pocket, or would he come off the side cushion for the cannon on the red?
Oh, he's gone the fine way. Gosh, I didn't
Wow.
like the odds of that.
Well, he certainly doesn't need to go to Specsavers.
No. So 304 to 213. Peter's made, I think, 111 break so far in the final. I think he's made
141.
141 in the final. was it?
141.
Sorry.
Yeah. Good recovery. Oh, bad luck, Gary. Now, there's another
bad
comment
luck.
too for those that don't know the game that well. If the balls, if you're going off, you have to play outside the balk line.
So,
So-
Gary can't play directly at the balls.
No,
here,
he
can
can't play straight onto the red or the yellow.
So played with massive side there to try and
Yeah.
disturb the red because he thought that Peter was in a scoreable position.
Be interested to see how Peter works this out. Would he play the run through, or would he try and get a cannon with weight
There's
to
not
red?
a lot there, is there?
One cushion. Tried to run through.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, when that stays down, then I think Peter will try and put both balls in balk. So you played quite firm. Yeah, there goes the red into balk, and there goes the yellow into balk.
Great shot.
Great
So
shot.
that's really a defensive shot. He had no possible
It is.
score there.
See what Gary can come up with. Make no mistake, Gary's a wonderful player.
How many
His
times
highest
New
break
Zealand?
his highest break in New Zealand is 303,
Okay.
and that is a record for New Zealand.
And in fact, it's one better than the high break of the tournament by Peter Gilchrist, 302. I think Gary's made 3 centuries in the Hamilton Open so far, and Peter's made 6 or 7, I think, the highest of which is 302.
That's not like Peter.
Well, no, but I think he's really suffering. He's wearing a back brace, and if you watch him, if we get a front-on shot of him, you'll see that his body's well out of alignment at the moment. He's leaning over on one hip. So very brave of him to come here. I mean, he's always been a great supporter of your events here, Wayne, and loves being in New Zealand and playing against the Kiwis. So very brave of him to even be here, frankly.
We love him. We love having him. He's just a
Yeah.
nice gentleman, nice guy to get on with. Look at this is a great recovery. Or
What a top count.
take a bow. That's a wonderful shot. Wonderful
gatherer.
shot, Gary. So,
So
now he's got to
Push
try
the
and get
white out and one cushion cannon for the red. Push the yellow out, out of the ball.
push the yellow out. He might try a little stun cannon here, although it's easy when you're watching, but just
Sure.
let's just see what he's going to do. He's got to get the balls out. He's got to screw back on the red. Top of the table. Look at that. There it is. Top of the table. Not quite.
When Wayne says top of the table, he means getting the opponent's ball near the billiard spot. So Gary's done very well there. He's got angle on red. Referee for this event is in fact Darren Taylor. And Wayne, you were refereeing part of this earlier. You and Darren were the losing semi-finalists. So your penance was to referee the final.
It's our punishment for losing.
It's your punishment.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 little in-offs here. What order will he take them in? No cannon. As usual, I know nothing.
Let's see how he gets top of the table here. Let's.
So he could screw off the white to the outside of the red, but he's not doing that. He's coming the
Right.
inside way. Oh, I didn't predict that.
I think he wanted that to come over further, but let's see what he does here. Will he screw back into the bottom pocket here?
Looks
One
like
thing
he
about it,
is.
a good shot of his elbow here, and it does not move at all. And that's a sensational shot for anyone who plays the game.
Yeah.
Try it sometime.
Yeah, and to not bash the red, so he's just stroked that.
Yeah.
Pulled his ball backwards into the pocket and left the red in a drop cannon position. So
There's
there
a
it
drop
goes.
cannon, and he's probably
Almost
been
there.
at top of the table and won actually.
Yep, pot red, and he's there.
Yep.
Needs to come across a bit further.
He'd be a bit disappointed with that, I think.
He will. It's a bit skinny now.
Oh, lovely squash
Yeah.
cannon.
Yeah.
Superb.
Good angle on the red. It's very
Yeah.
close to the cushion, so he might be looking to play a little bit of postman's knock. Hard to get that ball back. He might just drift onto it. Oh no, he's pushed it back up. Doesn't like postman's knock.
Going to draw this back, but looks like it. No, he's run on. Yep. He's run on, so he come behind for the cannon, bump the white out, and then pot the red, and hopefully get them both balls back behind the black spot after this shot. That quite hasn't worked out, has it?
No. Beautiful soft control
lovely
with side
touch,
spins.
Yeah, lovely touch. And personality to match.
Solid shot. So white out in the middle of the table. If you want to play along with us, you can guess how many shots it will take to get that white ball back behind the billiard spot. I'm going to predict
You go in off on the
5.
bottom right here and send the red up to the middle pocket
yes,
for the next shot.
a standard cross loser. I'm going to say 5 shots. So we've had one already to get that white back behind the spot and the red on the
Oh,
billiard
he's going
spot.
straight for the cannon now.
Oh, is he?
He's not
He is
taking the
too.
middle back loser. Look at that touch.
Not there yet. I think the main difference between these two players is Peter's ability to score so heavily when he gets the balls grouped around the billiard spot. So pot red and run through.
There's your cannon, top of the table cannon.
Played with a whiff of check side.
Lovely touch.
So he's herding it a little closer each time, isn't he?
You draw this back, or he might have snuck a bit of coverage here.
I think he's okay. That's an angle he prefers
Yeah.
now, so he can again knock the white closer to the spot. Getting very close now. And that's the difference between most players and these top
Yeah.
half a dozen to 10 players, is their ability to just continually work that opponent's ball into a place just behind the billiard spot. And there it is. Pretty much perfect now. So, barring mishaps, I would expect he'd make a century or more from here.
So he's currently on 69. He's going to play obviously behind cannon, bump the white up towards
Yeah,
the spot area.
what they call the recovery cannon, come from behind with a bit of left-hand side. Red could have come a bit further there, but he's okay. So
Now,
very close now.
for those who don't know Peter Tankard, he's come from Australia, plays in New South Wales, and like us, just loves the game.
Yep. Wish I had more time to be a bit better, Wayne.
The challenge is different with billiards because you're controlling 3 balls, and it's not uncommon to have the ball in such a position that you've got 3 choices
Yes.
of which shot you want to take. Whereas in snooker and pool, you've only really got 2 options: pot and safety.
I was very interested to talk to one of the new faces on the billiard scene here, Lawrence Millington, who is a fabulous potter and obviously very, very fine snooker player. He was saying that one of the challenges for him is controlling the object ball, because he points out that in snooker the object ball just goes into the pocket. It doesn't matter how hard it goes into the pocket. You can slam it into the back of the leather or trickle it in. But in this instance, he actually has to control the position of that object ball if he's playing 3-ball billiards. So that's one of the challenges for new players to this discipline.
There's a 98 here. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 100. So you've got to work out if you can run through it or do a stop shot, do a 369.
Well, I think that white ball's in his way, isn't it, for the cross loser?
Seems to be, yeah. Oh, look at that.
Power.
Yep. And you get it behind the cannon here, I'd say. He's got the in off as well if he wants,
Yeah,
but
so
I don't
played
think he'll
with-
play it.
Played with right hand side here, I think. Probably didn't mean to pop that. I think he meant to trap it in the jaws, but he has got the cross in off, I think. As always, it's hard to tell from these camera angles. Doesn't see it that way. Look at the screw cannon. Is he a bit low on the line, is he? He must be.
I think he's
with
going for the
bottom
cannon here, actually. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's clever. Yep.
It
Going
is.
off the white. Now that's clever, isn't it?
That's really clever.
Yeah.
That's not a shot I would have even dreamt of. Probably because it's not in my repertoire.
He's got them in coverage here, straight lines, and they're always a bit awkward. But you play the long loser here. And you put the
Long
red
loses
down.
the in-off into, as you're looking at it, the pocket on the left closest to the
Sure.
camera.
And whether or not it brings the red up to the middle pocket. No, he's going for the drop cannon next.
Is he wide enough?
Yep, he'd be at top of the table in 2 here.
Yep. You're a good judge, Wayne. Look at that. White drops behind the
Plays a
spot.
bit firm.
He's just a little bit strong. I don't. He would go in off again.
Probably just had some lunch here at the Hamilton Cosy Club, and I think he might have just had a
Had a bite too much, you think?
bite too much. The food was too enjoyable. It's made him too strong. Lovely
Look at that
touch.
slow drifting cannon. Little stun cannon here. So delicate.
In off white. I think he's trying
Now,
to
does he
get
try and keep this on the inside, closest to the rail of the red? I mean, that would be the way that you recover top,
He's
isn't it?
going to try and put the white by the red, so
Yeah.
he's got a cannon.
A little
There it is
higher,
there,
ideally. Now, he would have liked the white to be higher than the red, so he could come in on the inside of that, I think.
Sure.
Now he's knocking the white ball away from the spot.
I think both balls will be in front of him after this shot.
Yeah,
Here they are, both in front of him.
yeah.
Now, anyone who plays snooker, these are not easy shots, these little pot reds. He's not going to take
Well, I
it
don't think
anyway,
he's
so he's
taking it
going
on.
the cannon.
Yeah, one cushion cannon.
Well, his back's going to jib. Did you see that?
I did.
He's going to go in off here, I think. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. But look how softly he's able to hit that, so he gets a lot of screw on the ball for virtually no work.
So Is he going in off here, or is he going to play the cannon?
Looks like a cannon, doesn't it, the way he said it?
Yeah, because they're together.
Okay, that's quite workable. Got to bring the white up back off a cushion. Overcooked that a bit.
So he's currently on 134. Something must be a little bit awkward here for him.
I think everything's a bit awkward here, isn't it? No easy shot.
Is he going for the pot red?
No, run
No, he's
through
gone
cannon.
for the cannon. That's what was troubling. He didn't know his position afterwards. That's why he
Yes.
didn't like it.
Yes.
So that's 138.
So, Wayne, how often would you see Gary Oliver in a tournament year? Wow, what a great shot. Look at that. Smooth as silk.
Oh no, Gary enters all our tournaments.
Now, he's from the South Island?
He's from
Canterbury?
Christchurch,
Okay.
yes, and he's clearly our best player. There's no disputing that. We've got a few nice players, but somehow Gary seems to win. Well, 19 times New Zealand champion. Mind you, he has only won the New Zealand Open once. So
Really?
that shows you how hard New Zealand Open is to win, and that starts tomorrow.
But you've got a lot of foreign names in there too, including the defending champion, not here this year, Ben Judge from Australia. First Australian, I think, to win that.
Yeah, look at that lovely shot.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, I've been lucky enough to win New Zealand Open 6 times.
Ooh.
So, and we've had
How many more do you think you've got in you?
probably only another 30.
Yeah, it could be as few as 30.
Sorry?
It could be as few as 30.
Could be as few as 30. I'm trying to be
Yeah.
modest.
Yeah.
So, will he run through this? Will he play the 369 next?
369.
Yeah,
surely.
369 next year.
369, for those who don't know what the hell's going on, is the pot red's worth 3. This cross loser from one corner pocket to the next is worth 3, and then he puts the red over the middle pocket for 9. So, and in this way, he's kept white behind the billiard spot, and he can pot the red and run through back to his preferred top of the table position. Assuming he pots the red. Very uncharacteristic miss.
Very uncharacteristic. No, that's just 156
56.
break. Now, I've got to leave him, I'm afraid, because I've got to go and do some refereeing.
Okay, well,
So,
bring a friend in, otherwise people get bored
okay, I'll
listening to
try and
me.
see something here, sure. Could he get us on the way back? No, he won't. In this game, you just need your chances. Those little nice little friendly leaves that get you started.
Mm.
See, chance of Peter getting another 100 here, very strong, very strong.
Yes.
I would say he's going to put the white down behind the black spot here and snuggle the red up towards the middle pocket on the left-hand side. Yeah, there it is.
Yes. Not quite firm enough to get it
No.
behind the spot, but he can play what they call reverse top. He's not going to do that. He's going to run through and he'll get the white behind the spot now. Oh, unfortunate kiss. Little slip through cannon now. Should have been. Look how fine and delicately he's hitting these. Each time he hits them, they get a little bit further apart. So typically he'll play 2 or 3 of these.
Bring them all together, a little soft screw, yeah. And you're going off the white.
Yes.
That's the other comment too. When you're watching, I guess like any sport, when you're watching someone else play, it all looks so easy.
It does. It does.
Here's a drop cannon, top of the table in 2, possibly 1. There you go.
1. So red cannon white, red cushion white.
Yes.
Just grazes.
Just got enough work there now. So would he screw this back? The red screw the back up to above the white? No. There you go, easy as that.
So just graze this on the way through. No need.
He's going to graze it this time.
Yep. Each one of those little taps is just working that white ball. All
There
the
you
time,
go,
the
happens
time.
to all of us. The
Yeah, it
moment it's
happens to all
too
of us.
easy.
Yep.
And he'll be very frustrated with that. Yeah, now,
You're going to leave me, Wayne?
yes, now just, it's a nice little 5-shot. 3 for the red and 2 for the can, the yellow. I was trying to get Darren Taylor to come in and work with you, Peter.
Thank you, Wayne. You don't want Australians commentating on the New Zealand
Yes, we do. Of
on a
course
New
we do.
Zealand
Of course,
event,
you're a
Wayne.
special person. Think about that.
You can see, for those of you that have watched Peter play before, that he's, because of the back issues, he's actually bending both legs, something you would have never seen him do before. These tables are running pretty true, but it would be fair to say that the cloths are quite worn, so there's not a lot of nap left on these. But Peter's able to make that accommodation. He knows he won't get a lot of movement on the cloth with side spin, so he's just changing his calculations a little bit from what he would normally play. So I think he'll stun up here. No, screws up to play the recovery cannon next. So red cushion check side, white. And red trapped in the jaws. So he comes up high now to push the white back down below the red. Right hand side, check side on this. Look how tightly grouped they are. Makes the little cannon for fun on the way past. Don't think he can get under it here. I think he drops down onto the face of the white here. Now he can stun up higher. Try and get underneath it and knock it back up. Don't think he's there actually. I think he has to touch it on the face again. Looks like it's now trapped pretty tight on that top cushion in what's usually called postman's knock position, but he won't leave it there for long. He doesn't like it. It's a bit problematical. So a thin one with right hand side to get in off the red. If he has the angle. If not, he's got a screw cannon. Which goes wrong. A commanding lead now of over 300. What we might have expected from the reigning world champion. Now, I'm now joined in commentary by the other semi-finalist, the guy that was reffing just a minute ago, and he and Wayne have swapped places, and that's Darren Taylor. Welcome, Darren.
Thanks, Peter. It's great to be here.
Mate, congratulations on making the semis. Unfortunately, you got drawn against Peter Gilchrist, the reigning world champion.
Oh, look, it's the first time I've played him, so
Tell me about the experience.
No, like I enjoyed every minute of it. You know,
Yep.
it's he got a 300 on me, which
302.
302.
Yep.
Yep. So that was the difference, I think, in the end.
That's right.
I think that was the only one break. One break was the difference. But other than that, no, he played well.
Yeah.
Even though he's got a slightly injured back, he's still
Yep.
pretty good.
A bit like a wounded lion, isn't he? You know, don't poke the bear.
That's right. Exactly.
Now, this is not pretty. Gary's got them spread far and wide here. So what are you predicting?
Oh, look, it'd have to be off the top cushion and back. Hopefully push
Cannon
the
off the
red
top
over the
cushion?
middle, yeah.
No,
he's hit that a
didn't
bit
get there.
thin.
He did hit it a bit thin. Don't think he's left much. I think he's snookered the white.
Yeah.
But I think with the lead Peter's got here, I don't think he's in a mood to play much safety. I think he'll be trying to score.
He's starting to open up a little bit.
Yeah.
So that 156 that he got just
This
before,
isn't a screw into the corner, is it?
that was a little bit ambitious.
That was very ambitious. I think he was feeling a bit better. He might make that, but not today, and not on a worn nap. So tell us how billiards works in New Zealand. You've got different regions.
Yeah, so we have a few associations throughout the country. They each have their own local tournaments throughout the year. And then we have the majors, so we have our island tournaments, South Island and North Island. And then we have the New Zealand Open, which starts tomorrow. That's the next ranked one up. And then we have our Nationals, which is the highest ranking tournament that we have in the country. So Gary's won it, I think, 18 out of 19 out of the last 20 years.
Wow.
So, yeah, he's got a
Fairly
phenomenal...
dominant.
He's got a...
Fairly dominant.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's just nudged that red into baulk, so he's presented himself with a bit of a problem.
Yes.
The cannon's on red to yellow if he can just get just the right amount of side, but it's a dicky shot.
Yeah. You have to really put the white on the far side of the red, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
And bring it back that
Yeah.
way.
and he doesn't like any of that. But he hasn't got a lot of alternatives because he's left a scoreable position for Peter Redpot into the middle.
Correct. So he's really got to move at least
got to
one ball
disturb them,
if he
yeah.
doesn't score at all, and hope for the best.
Well, that's better than what he left.
That's
so,
right. Yeah.
So he's done well there.
Yeah. So screwing off into the yellow pocket if you were playing snooker.
Now, Darren, your billiards has grown another leg in the last 12 months. You've had some picking up some silverware and tournament wins.
Oh, look, it's taken a long time and a lot of money.
Why a lot
to
of
get
money?
there. Oh no, just the amount of tournaments that I've played.
Oh, I see. Entry
yeah,
fees.
Yeah. Entry
yeah.
fees and travel and so forth. But yeah.
But it's all coming together, mate.
Yeah,
That's
well, no,
fantastic.
I picked up a win the other day, so that was
Yeah.
not too bad.
Yeah, I read all about that.
Yes.
Who did you beat in that one?
Well, I was
Adesh?
actually lucky to make it through to the final. Adesh had Adesh Shakatkar from Rotorua had a pot red to tie our semi-final up with
Right.
seconds to go, and he luckily jawed it for me. And I came to the table, ball in hand, and the bell rang. So 1 by 3. And then Grant Hayward in the final. So Grant's one of the top players
He is.
in New Zealand.
Wonderful pot.
And he plays all sports well, all Q sports well.
Yes. Plays a lot of pool, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a decent snooker player too in his day.
Well, I think it's still his day. He can
yeah.
still pot like a demon.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and so just lucky enough to get up against him. So,
Well done, mate.
thank you, sir.
And tell me about Lawrence Millington.
Yes.
What a fantastic pot that boy
Oh,
is.
the boy is phenomenal. So he's an Englishman. He's relocated to New Zealand. He was down in Wellington and has moved up to the Bay of Plenty region.
Yep.
So he's been playing a bit of snooker there. He's the current North Island snooker champion.
No surprise there.
Yeah, and he was runner-up to Mark Canavan in the recent New Zealand Open at the
Okay.
start of the month.
Right.
So yeah, he's if you watched him this morning play,
Well,
he
it
can
was-
pot the balls from the light shades.
He can. In fact, I was talking to Frank Humphreys, who he beat in the pre-quarters.
Yes.
Now, Frank is 2 times Australian Open billiards champion, and not probably not in his prime, I would say, these days. And forgive me for that, Frank, but at 78, he's probably cued better than he is now. But just the same, Frank's a very experienced and very, very capable billiards player. Knows all the shots, and Frank was complaining that there was nowhere that he could leave the ball safe, that Lawrence couldn't drill it. He said, I put all 3 balls on the cushion, and he'd pot either me or the red ball every time. He said, I didn't know what to do in the end. He said, because he was leaving nothing, but every time I tried to leave nothing, he managed to score. So
I played him the night before the tournament started, and it's the first time I've ever played him. And it became a potathon.
right.
who could pot the most? Because obviously being a snooker player and that, so and me being an ex-snooker player.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no, it was good fun, and he's a top bloke too.
Yeah, he seemed like a lovely guy.
Yeah. So Pete's nearly up to a 300 lead here. Just a thin cannon off the reed.
Look at that delicate touch. Now, for those of you on the West Island who are watching this, Peter has confirmed his entry for the Sydney Open Billiards, which is going to be on the first weekend in December. So we get to see the great man live at the Marconi Club, and that's following up, that's the week after the WBL World Billiards Championship in Singapore. So for those of you who are thinking of going to Singapore, come back via Sydney, and we've got another tournament for you there, which is hosted at the wonderful Marconi Club, which is an Italian club named after Marconi, obviously, and they're wonderful, wonderful hosts in the way that only the Italians can be. Clever shot there.
How many tables have you got there, Pete, at the Marconi?
7.
7 tables?
7 tables, all just been recovered for the South Pacific Open snooker. Just won this last weekend by Hassan Kurdi, also an excellent billiards player, but in the Lawrence Millington vein of potting the lights out.
And playing Snilliards.
Well, yeah, but he's actually more competent than that.
Yes.
He knows all the billiard shots as well.
Yes.
But obviously, his strength is potting, and so
I often see his name at the pointy end of tournaments. When I'm
increasingly
following,
so. He just
following
won the New
Australian events.
well, he's just won the South Pacific back-to-back, first time it's ever been done, and is fresh off a win in the New South Wales Snooker Championship as well. So the man is in form. He beat Roger Fairbrother, one of our heroes.
And an excellent billiards player too.
Excellent billiards player.
Play the cannon off the top cushion here. It's a bit thin to going off, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Oh, played the pot and straight up to the middle.
What the hell?
What do
The
we
pot-
know? That's
we
why we're
know
sitting
nothing.
here.
That's why we're sitting here. But mate, when you say that's why we're sitting here, you made the semi-finals. That's a fantastic effort.
Oh, thanks.
So yes, in New Zealand they're quite cruel. If you made the semi-finals, you have to referee. So little nudge there, just perfect. So leave a potable red and tap the white behind the spot. He's got them in tight now, so expect another 100 here. Up to 66 already. We're not playing the balk line rule here. That's at level 4, 5, and 6, I think, for WBL.
No, we're playing at level 3 for the New Zealand Open starting tomorrow. Yeah, we're playing Bookline.
We're playing
Crossing.
Bookline, are we? So
Yes,
that's
we are.
level 3. Okay.
Yes.
That's come up too high. Now he's in a spot of bother. He can flick the red very fine with right-hand side, or he can run through. He would have been preferred to be a bit lower. Now look at him. Look at the pain on his face
Yeah.
as he's doing this.
Yeah,
This is awful.
he's in a lot of pain.
A lot of pain.
He was planning to get a massage somewhere,
Right.
but we started too early this morning and nothing was open, so
Yeah.
he's just going to have to put that away, and he's wearing a brace under that waistcoat, so
Yeah.
that's hopefully helping a little bit.
Well, he said without it he wouldn't be able to stand up. Oh, that
Oops,
didn't
it's
mean
just
to drop.
dropped. Yeah. You can certainly see when he goes down to pick the rest up off the
Oh, yeah,
off the thing. He's like bending his knees.
Bent his knees and
Yeah.
he's almost kneeling to pick it up.
Yeah.
And this is difficult. He can't get down on the ball.
He's going to have to play a
Yeah.
screw cannon off the red and bring the red back over the
Yeah,
corner
but-
pocket, I
but
would
that's-
say.
He's so tight there. He's got a cue right down on the ball.
Nice. He's
No, he's
not
not
even
playing
attempting
that,
that
no.
shot, no.
Too hard. Thin and off.
Pot,
Oh, long pot red.
just wide.
Brave effort.
Yes. So, Pete, you come over from Sydney, and it's great to see you back in the country
Oh,
again.
mate, thanks. It's been a long time, obviously, between COVID and other things going on, but delighted to be here.
It's always good to see you here. You've been here 2 or 3 times before, haven't you? in
I've
the
been
last
here,
few
yeah,
years?
a couple of times.
Once at Christchurch.
three times in total.
Yes.
And I mean, this is a very popular event with the Australians. Because 2 reasons. Firstly, it's just across the ditch, and secondly, we speak almost the same language.
In fact, we had a little bit of a lost in translation from Frank Humphreys earlier on, because he said
Did we?
in my match with Peter Gilchrist, said I was a little bit cheeky, which in this country would mean I'd be like having a bit of a joke,
Yeah.
you know. But over there, it was obviously I was coming back at him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the scoreboard. So yeah, and
okay.
I thought, oh, okay, I had to sort of
Well,
clarify that
must
expression.
That must be a West
It
Australian
must
thing
be,
because
yeah.
yeah.
So Gary's just running a few losers here, trying to get
Yeah.
Peter's ball up near the balk line so he can play
Yep.
the cannon.
Is he there yet,
Possibly.
or is he just going to
No, he'd have to play
Dump-
it here.
dump the yellow in the centre pocket and play a double ball?
That wouldn't be. Gary wouldn't do anything like that, would he?
I don't know.
He's not that
You
sort
know,
of bloke.
you know Gary better than me.
Well,
There's not a lot of point in it when you're 350 behind.
not in double balking, no.
No.
Got to be on
Yeah.
the tack all the way through now.
Well, yes. I mean, the difficulty that Gary's facing is he's facing 2 opponents, Peter Gilchrist and the clock. And that's always the challenge with timed billiards. It's different if you're playing points up. It ain't over till it's over. But in Gary's case, he gets to the point where he's starting to run out of time.
And he's rusted that one a little bit as a result.
He did. You know, Gary, for a billiards player, looks quite jabby in his action. And I don't mean that unkindly, because he's obviously a very fine player and scores really well. But compared to other billiards players, you look at Peter's action, it's very long and flowing,
Yes.
whereas Gary's a little bit more staccato and perhaps more in the snooker style. What a great screwing off. Just so effortless.
So Gary's been diversifying a little bit as of late. He's been,
Has he?
Yeah, he's been playing in a couple of pool tournaments, and he's played in a couple of snooker
Yeah.
tournaments. So yeah. His partner Corrine has dragged him along into those. So
Oh, look
Keep-
at this.
keeping him busy.
Look at this. Coming from behind to
Lovely.
knock it up the right way. Unlucky he didn't get more of it. Screwing off here. Just so
Lovely.
delicate, you know. He doesn't bash them. He just
That's right.
strokes them in.
yeah,
And that's the difference in the level of control between the top players and us. I'm sorry, I'm putting myself in your class, Darren. I shouldn't do that. You're a semi-finalist. But for us to make that shot, that red ball would have travelled
A long way down,
a
further
long
down
way
the table, yes.
Whereas he's got it under control. Grouping them together now. Wouldn't mind a jaw. Gets a jaw.
That's it.
So have you been watching David Corsier this season?
The man is a freak.
The man is
The
freak.
man is a freak. He can do things on billiards tables that no one else, I think, can ever do.
Well,
And
that's right.
he thinks so quickly, you know, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And the results that he's had.
Has he lost one
is
game this
amazing.
year? I think he's lost one game in the
Yeah.
last 2 years to Rob Hall in the Irish Open.
Yes.
Outside of that, he's been virtually unbeatable.
I think
Before that, the last match he lost was in 2019 to the man we're watching now, Peter Gilchrist, in the semi-final of the World Championship in Melbourne.
And what a great venue that was too, the RACV
What a
club.
fabulous venue that was.
One of the best billiards rooms in the world.
Oh, one of the best tournaments, if not the best tournament that certainly I've ever been to. We had all the modern greats there, with the possible exception only of Geet Sethi.
So I've just had a word in
And
my ear.
Martin Goodwill.
We've got 15 minutes to go here. So
Now Peter will stun up high to come down to make the cannon coming back.
So this being the lead-up tournament to the New Zealand Open that starts tomorrow. Most of the players that played in this one are playing in the one starting tomorrow. We've got 2 players that aren't and 2 players coming in. So
Okay.
yeah. of
And who are the
original
2
field.
players coming in? Are they strong
Coming in?
players or?
So they're local players. One from Auckland, Jim
Okay.
Anderson, and one from Whangarei, or like further north, Damien Wojcik. So yeah.
Are they established players?
Look, they're just, I would say they're just starting on the scene
Yep.
in New Zealand.
Are you getting most of your converts from snooker? How do you get started in billiards in New Zealand?
Yeah, well, this is a big talking point really at the moment. We're not getting a lot of youth coming through. So the likes of Lawrence Millington coming into the tournament, new blood playing the game, and that's what we're after. We want to increase the numbers because we're not getting younger.
No,
So
ain't that the truth? And when you see these young guys come in, and you realise how strong they are at potting, but how much they've got to learn in terms of the shot making. Look, talk about shot making. Look at this.
yeah,
He's
3
just got
little cannons in a row.
3 little cannons in a row. The delicacy here is just make it 4. He's going to make it 5.
And it makes it really easy to referee because you're not getting balls out of pockets. You just got to
Yeah.
stand there and just add on 2.
Now, did you see what he did there? He came on the outside of the red, intentionally didn't hit it full, otherwise he would have knocked the red away. But he's just grazed the red. But now,
So off the top
unfortunately,
fish.
he's just blocked. But
That's good.
that's so clever. That's so clever.
He's just having a little bit of fun now.
He is, yeah. Well, he can afford to, can't he? 400 now, the lead.
Yes.
So it brings the red back into a potable position, having travelled 25 feet. Oh no, it's gone a bit far.
One thing I must do is mention the amount of sponsors that we've had
Yeah.
behind these tournaments. You can see
Mate, it's a great list.
Straight Aim up there on the screen. So that's a company owned by Vince Tate in Auckland, and he sells billiard cues and pool cues, but he also's developed a learning aid for
Alright.
your cue stroke.
So he can help me.
So you can help, obviously, aim straight.
Yes. So tell me about it. What does it do?
So it locks onto your cue, and it doesn't hurt the cue in any way.
Like a laser?
No, it's just like a little contraption that you just slide onto your cue, and it just runs on a little rail.
Okay.
Yeah, and it just helps you that way.
I mean, you can't use it in competition.
No,
it's a
no, it's
practice aid.
illegal. It's a
Yeah,
practice
right.
aid only. But obviously, you're learning muscle memory and
Yep.
and shot memory and all that sort of stuff. So
Did he invent it himself?
he did. Yes, he's painted it himself.
Wow.
It's he's got a couple of the pro snooker players on board in England. Sean Murphy.
Look at that.
and
He's
Mark
tapped that.
Joyce.
He's made the cannon push the white into exactly the right position behind the billiard spot.
Yeah. So yeah, Vince has come on board, jumped at the
Fantastic.
chance, and so he's sponsoring the. He's the main sponsor for the couple others, but we've got many others as well that have jumped on board as well, and it's
Yeah,
great
I saw
to see.
Tall Poppy Real Estate.
Yeah, Tall Poppy Real Estate, Simply Fire, who the owner of that company is a member here at the club, and he just did not have any second thoughts about jumping on board and supporting the tournament. So
Well,
that's
fantastic.
great.
I mean-
So yeah, Steve Bradburn's the man there.
So, but don't cover it. Is he got it covered? No, I think he's all right. Two little cannons to separate them.
And our other major sponsor is Pot Black. So they do mainly pool tables, but they do.
Look at this under the body, a la Mark
Oh,
Williams.
Mark Williams, there we go.
Yeah, because he's tall enough to do it.
Yeah.
He reaches from the balk end. He reaches almost to the pink spot. He's 6'7" tall. That is when his back's working. Look at this, so delicate and so gorgeous. Touching.
It's just asking Wayne Carey there, the referee, to check. I don't think it is, or otherwise it'd be up at the balk end by now.
Yes. And even if it is, he'll convince Wayne it isn't. He did this to me yesterday.
That much, I missed it by that much. He's pulled out the Get Smart quote.
Yeah, that's right. No, Peter was saying, no, there's a big gap. Now, he did that to me yesterday. He called me in from another table and said, can you see a gap there? And I couldn't see a gap at all. I thought they were touching. But he managed to convince somebody else that they were separated. So he stayed at top of the table. But, of course, why would I question him? He's got better eyes than me. Look how delicate this
Yeah.
is.
And it's so quick too.
It is so quick. Just a joy to watch. Just a joy to watch. And I think, in my view, the reason that he's so good to watch is that you can actually figure out what he's doing, unlike Corsia, where the balls are going everywhere and seemingly through magic coming back under control.
Yeah.
Peter is actually much more classical and predictable, so he's much easier to commentate than Dave. Both wonderful, wonderful players in their own right, but in terms of commentating, I'd rather be describing what Peter's doing than trying to guess what David's doing.
Yes, it's sort of the case of wanting to play like Gilchrist, but actually playing like Corsia.
Well,
And the fact that we have the balls running around all the table, but
Well, I've
don't
sa-
get them together.
To me, David, they used to describe Willie Smith, who was a 2000 breaker, as a club player that never missed. And Dave's a little bit like that. He's kind of like a B grader on steroids. The balls go everywhere. And until you realise that he's actually playing for this, and you're just not smart enough to figure out what the hell he's doing, it looks uncontrolled, but it's actually very controlled. The other one that amazes me, and I don't know whether you refereed him in Melbourne, is the player from Myanmar, Pork Sa. Now, that guy is unbelievable. It's like he's a three-cushion cannon player. He plays shots that are not in any textbook you'll ever see. And by repute, he made 1,000 break recently. I don't know how true that is, but and whether it was refereed or in practice or what the story was, but the guys in Myanmar are saying that he knocked in 1,000. There have been 5 official 1,000 breaks since the Second World War under the current set of rules, 2 of them held by the man you're watching. 1346 here in Hamilton, New Zealand, on the table behind Peter's left shoulder, and 1,000 even in the Ivy Rooms in Ireland. Now that 1,000 is the only, that 1,000 in Ireland is the only break made under the auspices of the WBL. So in the current administration professional tournaments, that's the only one that's ever been made, and this man did it. But perhaps the most recent one, except for Porksara, is actually Pankaj Advani. And that was perhaps the most amazing 1,000 break of all, because it was made in a match up to 100.
How does that work?
He gave his opponent 1,000 start.
Ah, okay.
And ran out with 1,000 unfinished to win.
Take that, young man.
Exactly. 1,000 break and 100 up match.
Yeah. So Pete would have to be odds on here for a double, wouldn't he? He's only 21. He's got the balls in prime position.
Yep, odds on.
So that would be his second double, I think, for the
Second double.
Second double
He'd
along with the
normally make
triple.
more than that. In fact, he's quite capable of making more than that in a match. I know he played Dave Walsh, or he played Edwin Tay in Adelaide,
Oh yes.
and bookended a 1 hour match with 300 breaks, both of them 300 even. His opening break was 300 and his last
That's
break
right.
was 300.
That's good going.
Yeah,
Yeah, happy with that.
and he played me in Melbourne and knocked in back-to-back breaks of 202 and 243. So when I looked up at the scoreboard, it read 445 to 0. And I thought, yeah, could happen that I don't score at all in a 90-minute match. He was just playing that well.
Round
Round the
ends
table?
again. Yep. He's up
Oh,
for the
no, he's
middle.
up for the middle.
Yeah. There's the 200 come up, and
Well
the
done.
applause from the crowd there off to the right.
Wayne wants to put it on the billiard spot. Doesn't really matter. He's got position on both. Look at this, still in perfect control. But look at him holding his back. Every time he stands up, he braces that back again. I'm amazed he's still upright, to be honest with you. How quick is this? In full flow now. Little hints of side on there to correct the position of that white. Oh, wants to do something for fun now, so breaks it up. Knows he only has a few minutes left, so he's playing more for his own enjoyment than the win here.
It'd be quite easily done just to give you back a little bit of a rest and let Gary have a little bit of table time, but
It's
really
not in
has
his
shown
nature.
the nature that Pete's got, that he wants to hold the table.
And also, he's got one other great asset. He's a fabulous entertainer. You know, he knows what the crowd wants to see, and plays that style. Especially once he's secured the win, he's now in kind of full entertainment mode. He played a match in Sydney a few years ago, where halfway through when he had the match well and truly secured, he started playing everything for two cushion cannons. He would only play for two cushion cannons. And I couldn't figure out what was going on until I heard later that somebody in the crowd had bet him a beer that he couldn't make 5 two cushion cannons in a row.
Oh, there you go.
Well, he took it on in the middle of the match for one beer.
Oh, but did he get the beer?
He got the beer.
He got the beer. Oh,
He got the
excellent.
beer.
That's all that matters.
The offender was, of course, Grant Meadley, who'd bet him the beer.
Oh, yes.
Now, it's a public holiday in Australia for marking the passing of the Queen. And I think you're celebrating that on Monday, are
We
you
have it
not?
on
Yeah,
Monday, yes.
yeah.
The 26th.
Has there been any talk about any change in mood about republicanism in New Zealand? New Zealand's always been a little bit more...
Oh, there's the bell.
Yeah, there's the bell.
Oh, we'll have to leave that for...
We'll leave that
We'll leave it
hanging,
for
will we?
another day. Yeah,
We'll leave that
for
one
another
hanging.
day, yeah.
That's a good idea. Very political. Well done, Daz. Thanks for that,
That's
mate. I enjoyed
no.
speaking with you.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. It's been good.
Cheers. Signing off now, and we'll enjoy the presentation. We'll leave you to it. Cheers.
plate winner, travelled a very, very long distance for this from Tauranga, Andrew Draper. Well, we witnessed some marvellous breaks this weekend. Gary Oliver got 3, Peter Gilchrist got a couple. But the highest break ball was a 302 by Mr. Peter Gilchrist. One of the qualifiers of the main event from Matamata, Mr. Kevin Crichton. Another man who's travelled a long way to get here, Mr. Frank Humphries from Australia. Another qualifier, Mr. Russell Delahunty from Wellington. Representing Tauranga quite well, Mr. Mark Taylor. The quarter-finalists, all the way from Auckland, Mr. Grant Hayward. And our Indian New Zealand representative, Mr. Adish Shikatkar. The quarter-finalists, last of them, from Australia, Mr. Peter Tankard. Semi-finalists of the event, our local president, Mr. Darren Taylor. Another semi-finalist, all the way from Auckland, Mr. Wayne Carey. Second place in the event, all the way from Christchurch, Mr. Gary Oliver. And what more can you say? We've witnessed a great final, we've witnessed them playing great billiards. It's an absolute pleasure and privilege to have Peter Gilchrist from Singapore in New Zealand. And the winner of the event, Mr. Peter Gilchrist.
Thanks for coming and watching. I'm sure all these people at the back come a little bit late, but really enjoyed coming to New Zealand. I think it's probably fourth or fifth time. It's only the second time I've gone, and it was nice to see them back when I came in this time. I made the break there. Not playing as well as what I was then, but the New Zealand Open, it might just put together. And hopefully Gary plays as well in the New Zealand one as well. Many thanks to Danny for the fantastic job. These things really go unnoticed, and the better the job you do, the less you get noticed, and that's just the way it is. As a referee and con director, we do a fantastic job. Well done for that, Danny. Also, big thanks to my semi-finalists that played to Darren. He's done a tremendous job over here as well. And like I said, it's just great to get to play billiards. I used to go to India back 20, 30 years ago. I haven't been there for a long time, so it's lost its popularity in a way, but hopefully their venues like this will get it back and get it back to where maybe it should be. I'll get you all the drinks at the bar and then I'll put it off.
start? 10 a.m. start. 10 a.m. start. Also, this evening, they will be having a champions event here at 7 o'clock. So, thank you.
So you, who will be on the company? Can I nominate someone?